Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Duck Zone. It is Super Bowl week. We have been building towards this for many months. James, it's finally here. Are you excited? What's your feeling? It's been a long season.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not as excited as I would have been had the Bills made it. Um, but I mean, you can't not tune in. If you're a sports fan, you're not watching the Super Bowl. So there's other things that are always fun to watch, like the commercials and the halftime show. I'm excited for Kendrick Lamar, but I mean, the storylines are there with the Eagles and the Chiefs. So yeah, should be hopefully a good game.
Yeah, I kind of have the same feeling. It's been a while since I've been this unexcited for a Super Bowl. I was kind of thinking back at the last 10 years. There's only really one that comes to mind, and it was that actually Philly and New England Super Bowl. It turned out to be a great game, high scoring and everything like that. So I just haven't had a lot of excitement. I think a lot of the country kind of feels the same way. The fact that this is a rematch from 2 years ago, it was a great game 2 years ago, but it just feels like we're getting a rerun, literally on the same network. Fox had both games. The only thing it feels different is this game's in New Orleans, that game was in Phoenix. Even the lineups, like the stars, are basically all the same. Outside of Saquon Barkley, it's basically the same lineups, which is pretty crazy. Um,
We're getting Tom Brady though.
we are getting Tom Brady, so we'll see how that goes. Before we get into a bunch of Super Bowl talk, though, there are some pretty fun storylines that have come out this week. One of the biggest is the Rams have said, Cooper Kupp, we're going to try and trade you immediately. Miles Garrett, he wants out of Cleveland. And just kind of by general piecing things together, it's a pretty well known fact or feeling that Kellen Moore will probably become the head coach in New Orleans after the Super Bowl. Not official yet, but it feels like that's going to be the case. Those big three storylines, James, I'm going to pass it to you. What are your feeling on all three of those?
Yeah, I'll start with Cooper Cup. I saw on Twitter when he posted about it, he seemed pretty gutted because he basically said, I was drafted by the Rams and I wanted to finish my career with the Rams. Well, obviously, the Rams want to get something for him. Gut reaction is, I mean, he's older now. He's not as good as he's used, as we've been accustomed to seeing him. Puka Nakua's kind of taken over that number one role. Injuries have played a part with Cup's career. He's still good when he's on the field. I'm not quite sure why Stafford just didn't target him after like having multiple weeks of having pretty solid games. Again, I know Puka was the number one guy, but in today's NFL, there's plenty of reason to have two, even three receivers, excel in an offense. If I had to pick where I think he could go, Buffalo seems like an interesting spot just because they came up short again. He'd be a fun pairing with Josh Allen. I know the Chargers have been rumored. I saw Detroit even get rumored, which would be interesting because they already have Amon Ra and Jamison Williams and then Laporte at tight end. But honestly, he could go anywhere and probably excel as like a number two, number three receiver because that's probably what he is at this point.
Yep.
And at that age, and at his age, I should say. The Miles Garrett news, I feel like, has been a long time coming. At every year, you're just like, this guy is a Hall of Famer, perennial Pro Bowler, and he's just wasting away his career in Cleveland. So, again, I'm not even going to touch on where he could go because he literally could go to every other team and he'd make them better. And then as for the Kellen Moore news, I actually didn't know that. So you were the one who informed me about that. I hadn't been really paying attention to NFL Twitter, NFL news the past couple days, but that makes sense. He's very much deserving of a head coaching job with how he's just rapidly excelled as an offensive coordinator. So that one to me is interesting because New Orleans wasn't like that bad. I know record wise they weren't good, but like they have been good even just last year. They started off the year hot and then just completely fell apart. And obviously part of that was because Derek Carr got hurt, but yeah, Kellen Moore's a head coach. That'll could be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the kind of just bridging back to the three really quick. I mean, the Cooper Cup thing is interesting. I mean, it really shows the hand that the Rams believe heavily in this year's wide receiver class that's coming in. It feels like every single year, though, there's a good slew of receivers coming in. There's a good slew of tight ends coming in this year as well. So they must be targeting a couple of those guys. They're probably trying to get draft picks. And we all know you can get a great receiver in the third, fourth, fifth round. So they must be targeting a few guys. And it seems like every year, these years, there's 5 to 10 receivers every year that are making big impacts on their new teams. So finding a receiver in the draft is not as difficult as most positions. Cooper Cup still has value, and someone's going to trade for him. It'll be interesting to see what the value is. I'm really not sure at this point. Yeah, and then Myles Garrett is not surprising at all. It will be interesting to see what his return is. I think it's going to be a good return for Cleveland. One of the ones that's really interesting that I heard, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, was they may even part with that second pick overall. And one of the teams that's kind of circled there is Minnesota. What's going to happen with Sam Darnold? Are they in love with J.J. McCarthy? Because they need a quarterback themselves. So that'll be interesting. And then the coaching situation in New Orleans, you kind of talked most of it already. Kellen Moore has just kind of really risen the ranks really quickly here over the last 5 years. And New Orleans is going to be in a rebuild. Their biggest thing is they're probably the team, if not the odds-on favorite. They could have the worst record next year. It would not be surprising if Arch Manning ends up in New Orleans where his grandfather played. Or not it would be grandfather he played. Yeah, that'd be just kind of a fun story. But yeah, any other news that you've heard, James, football related, or not much?
Other than the Justin Tucker news, which we can kind of skip over, that was interesting. No, not much. Probably move on to the Super Bowl.
I'm guessing. I just got to throw this out there. I'm guessing you watched a whole whopping of 0 minutes, like me, of the Pro Bowl, right?
Oh, I didn't watch a single.
Yeah.
I didn't watch anything. I think I switched onto it for about 10 seconds, and they were doing a trivia with who was doing the trivia. It was like Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, and I was like, okay, if I want to watch trivia, I'll just like watch Jeopardy at night. I'm not going to watch this. So then I turned it off to something different.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it. The only reason why I remembered it even happened was because TikTok. I saw Blue, the mascot of the Indianapolis Colts, doing blue things. And I was like, oh, he's at the Pro Bowl. The only reason I remember is the mascots on TikTok. Literally, that's it. All right, we'll jump into the big game, Super Bowl this Sunday. As we all know, Philadelphia taking on Kansas City, rematch from 2 years ago. Let's just jump right on into it. What is your feeling of the game? Who do you think is going to win? I'm just going to give you the floor. Take it to wherever you want.
I mean, if we had to pick a phrase for our podcast when it came to the NFL, it would probably be "Don't bet against Mahomes." And the 2 times I didn't pick Kansas City to win, I mean, I guess 1 week I picked Kansas City to win and they lost, and that was against Buffalo, whatever week that was. But the other times I actually picked against Kansas City, they won. So one being 2 weeks ago against the Bills. So it's a stupid narrative, but it's the same one that we keep saying week in and week out. It's hard to bet against Mahomes. So, and he's not losing. So the Eagles are tough. They've got a really good running game. When they need to throw the ball to Smith and Brown and Goddard, they can. And they have a solid defense, but they're going up against the Chiefs, and right now I can't not pick the Chiefs. They're just getting it done. So, yeah, I really don't have a lot to say about it, just because it's not. I don't want to say it's bad football, but it's like the Chiefs will win a game and they have less yardage than the other team, or the Chiefs win a game and it's on a last-second kick, or the Chiefs win a game and arguably whoever you talk to, a call went their way. Not to say the refs are on their side. I know there's been a lot of talks about that, but I don't know. They're just obviously they're just. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a good team, and they have a really good defense. So yeah, it's hard to not pick the Chiefs.
Yeah, you kind of said it all there, and I think this has got to do with some of the fact that this game just doesn't feel as exciting, is because it feels like we all already know the script of the game. I will be honest, I bet heavily the fact that the Chiefs are going to win within six. I think the game's going to be good. I think it's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be a fun watch. But at the exact same time, we kind of already it's weird to say for the NFL. It feels like a wrestling script where it's like you already know who's going to win. It feels like, all right, I feel very confident that Kansas City's going to win, even though Philly's got a really, really good team. It's just somehow in the last 5 minutes of the game, Mahomes is going to have a chance. They're going to be tied or something like that. They're going to drive down the field. They're going to get a play or two to fall their way, and they're going to kick a field goal to win it. And it's gonna. I'm hoping for a high scoring game. I think that's what's going to happen. But I just feel like we already know what's going to happen. It's very weird.
Yeah, my so one thing I am looking forward to is that I'm trying to, because obviously I have no dog in the fight. The Eagles win, I'll be happy for Saquon. If the Chiefs win, I'll be happy for DeAndre Hopkins. So
Yeah.
I'm excited that one of those guys is getting a ring.
Yeah. That said, we both gamble a lot. Is there any fun bets that you're going to be making?
I normally do a squares table. We'll
Mhm.
be at Ashley's parents' house, or that's the plan. So I think her dad might be putting together a squares. So that's always fun, trying to, well, there's no skill in squares. You just randomly pick a square, and then the numbers are filled in later, and then either you win money or you don't. Um, I don't know. It's tough where I am now in Rapid City because I can't bet on my phone, like get on
Yeah.
FanDuel and stuff. But like, it's always fun. I don't know. National anthem, will it be longer than a minute and a half, or over under a minute and a half? I mean, you can find a prop for anything with the Super Bowl. It's insane.
Yeah.
Um, if there was a confident bet I'd place, the odds probably wouldn't even be that high, but I'd probably bet Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown. That seems
Yeah.
just like something I don't want to guarantee it, but it seems pretty likely.
Yeah. Yeah, I placed a slew of bets, but I'd say the funniest one that I bet, which I actually feel pretty confident it's going to happen, it happened in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, is somebody's going to record an octopus. It's just my prediction. Which
It's
is
not a bad
actually,
idea.
yeah, which is actually because Jalen Hurts got it 2 years ago. He ran one in, and then he ran in the 2 point conversion. And not bad odds. It's like, I'd have to recheck it, but it's like plus, it's like plus over 1,000. I think it's like, I mean, they're
Oh
rare,
wow.
but like it's like, hey, this is the team that could do it. I mean, Nick Sirianni, he uh, he goes for two a lot, so it's possible.
Yeah.
Um,
What are the odds on? Does it say anything about like the first song Kendrick Lamar will play at the
oh,
halftime show?
I haven't seen that yet. No, I know that those are out there, but I haven't seen that prop yet. I'm curious to see how that show's gonna go.
Yeah, he took home quite a bit of Grammys this past
Yeah,
Sunday, so he's on top of the world right now, top of the news world. If I
yeah,
had to make a bet, I would say that he opens with they not like us, but
yeah,
we will
yeah.
see. I will
And
be
then,
looking forward to that Super Bowl halftime show. I will be looking forward to the commercials, and then
yeah.
icing on the cake as we get a good game.
We'll see. Here's the other thing that's kind of funny too is It's been 12 years since New Orleans has hosted a Super Bowl. I don't. I'm sure it'll be mentioned quite a bit on Super Bowl Sunday. Um, Last time there was a Super Bowl there was a power outage. I wonder if that happens again.
That'd be funny. Oh, another fun one. Color of the Gatorade.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yep, that is a good one. So, but Super Bowl always a great time to be with friends, family, or just chilling on your couch, whatever it is. It's a good food day. By the way, what do you eat Super Bowl Sunday?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think. Last year we came back from Portugal like the day before, so we were like jet lagged, and
Hmm.
I think we just ordered a pizza. But my
Yeah,
go-to, I would say, my go-to is 100% wings
yeah, yeah. I remember the good old
and
days.
a good dip, a good chips and dip.
Yeah, I miss the good old days of 15 years ago. Showing our age now. Back in the college days when we used to watch these things in the dorms and everything. And it's just a whole ton of pizzas and a whole bunch of wings and whatever
Oh
place.
yeah.
Yeah, the good old days of just truck it all in and just beer after beer. And it didn't matter what you ate at 20, 21, 22. You just felt fine the next day. So
Yeah, I remember there was one Super Bowl party I threw at my parents' house. They were there. It wasn't like a secret party.
yeah,
Actually, I think you showed up. You came, but
yeah.
Will brought it the Skyline chili dip, and that thing was like 1,000 calories per bite, and everyone was just kind of looking at that thing, and no one knew what to do with it. So then who chows into it? Will just starts going to town on it, and it's like, Will, I don't think you need any more calories.
Yeah, oh man. But all right, well, I don't think there's too much more to cover on this game. And yeah, any final thoughts, James, before we sign off?
No, I mean this is kind of crazy. Last NFL show of the year, we had talked about this being the last show. I know we're actually going to be putting out in a couple days an NBA trade deadline show, and then we're actually going to be going on hiatus for a little bit, and then big things in store post hiatus.
Yep, there'll be a little bit of rebranding and a little bit of fun and a lot of sports to talk about as we head into the spring, into the summer. Um, but yeah, it's been a great, great NFL season. And let's see if this Chief dynasty continues. It's amazing how much history is on the line in this one, um, and we'll see who retires after this game too. This could be the end of Travis Kelsey. So,
So here's my last prediction. Last thing I'll say before we end the show. If the Chiefs win, I think Travis Kelsey not only retires but proposes on the field to Taylor Swift.
yeah, it could happen. That would just be. By the way, actually, this just came to mind too because this happened a couple days ago as well. Did you catch Jameis Winston at media day?
I've seen stuff on Twitter. I haven't like looked at it, but he's such a funny guy, so I'm sure it's pretty funny whatever he. I know of what he did. I just haven't watched it yet, but
He just reminds me so much of the guy from Coming to America.
oh yeah, Eddie Murphy's character.
Yeah, yeah. He's just always happy and just I don't know. It's funny, but yeah. All right. Well, that's my final thought. So, all right, guys, enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, stay cool wherever you're at. We'll see you in a couple days. Actually, a lot of trades happening in the NBA. See y'all later, guys.